Hey, this is your host, Jermaine Thomas with Urban Conservative News, giving you commentary and analysis of the stories that's dominating our headlines today. And so, with that, my heart intent is to just kind of, give commentary, brief commentary on the current events today. The left wing media is arguing that trying to make Trump sound like he's a flip flop and he's kind of flaky. But I'm gonna tell you this: look, there has been no politician that was on the campaign trail that has not changed positions. So I think that is an unfair analysis, an opinion, and a dishonest opinion of the media, and I think that they're overshooting it with that. And a lot of these positions are changing with NATO. NATO is changing their. NATO wasn't paying their fair share, but since Trump called them out on it, they changed. And I think also too, this is growth for Trump. When you're privy to certain national intelligence and you get to see the stuff that you're not necessarily privy to when you're on the campaign trail, it kind of changes your perspective, on different things. Being president, I believe is one of those most humbling things, but yet enriching experiences, because you have the power of the free world. You have that power to influence the free world, and you carry the weight of the free world on your shoulders. That's just positionally where America is in the world. That doesn't mean we go around parading and bullying or dictating what a person can and cannot do within the sovereign borders of their own nation. But we have a UN and governing body that charters, interests that's common for humanity, the defense of humanity, within those borders. And so you have them calling out human rights issues, but there's been a lot of biases even in that. Trump called out China on the campaign trail, and China say, well, hey, this guy is somebody I could probably work with. And so China began to change their behavior, manipulating currency. They would dump their iron into our market. So it's just a lot of things that I think that leaders are taking the leadership in America serious now. And so there's a lot of changes. And it's not just because of just missiles hitting Syria. I think that was important. I think that was a necessary strike that needed to happen to send a message to Assad that we're not going to allow, as humanity, we're not going to allow you to, gash your own people. Now, this is something he's been doing. And the Obama administration had an opportunity to intervene, but they didn't. Well, the world had an opportunity to intervene, but they didn't. We tend to be late on intervening in aspects of genocide, historically, as Western nations, but America has been a force for good. Where would the Berlin Wall, East and West Germany, where would that be today if it wasn't for America's intervention? When you think of Iraq, and dictators. So study the history. Look at the history of some of these nations, and it kind of enhances your worldview. My thing is, go beyond the person and look at some of the policies. Trump has some awesome policies. One of his education policies and stance on school choice. I love that. No mom should have to lie about where she lived to get her child a quality education. People hating this man without a cause is just, and like he dumb or stupid. You don't make billions of dollars being dumb and stupid. So I don't know how people attack Trump's intelligence, like that. He's uncouth at times, but Look at the man kids. His kids are successful millionaires and billionaires themselves. So that says something to his credibility and his level of intelligence. How many of us can say, we run around with $1 billion businesses and our kids are billionaires, millionaires, and running successful businesses? So I think that's kind of kooky to kind of attack somebody's intelligence like that. Like he kooky or something. So I don't get that one. But anyway, go beyond the messenger and look at some of the policies and some of the stances. And we agree to disagree on certain things, but go beyond these news pundits and research and get more of an objective perspective on the issues that's facing our country today. And so, number one, pray for our president, his cabinet, pray for our Congress, pray for our political leaders, that they have the wisdom and the clarity that they need to make the right decisions, but when you think of, people, and then people get all up in these conspiracy stuff too. Come on, man. Sometimes this stuff is just what it is. And there's just real evil in this world. Just some real evil and some real evil people. And seeing those kids choking like that and people choking like that, that's just some real evil stuff, man. And people get on here talking about some America concerned about them, and then some stuff is just not comparable. Sometimes stuff is just, it's like comparing apples and oranges. Some stuff is just apples and some stuff is just oranges. They spent all this money on these missiles. Man, if you really care about if you're fiscally outraged about American money on these missiles, man, go to some of these websites, these watchdog groups website, and read about how much waste the government waste the taxpayers' money. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just get caught up in the emotion of something, and we suspend the logic and reasoning of things, and get an emotional rise out of something. Listen, ISIS don't care about your color, your skin. If you ain't for them in their view of Islam, if you ain't Muslim, you're an infidel, and we gonna kill you, and we gonna spread our caliphate. So they don't care about you being American and black, and America got this history against black people and all this other stuff. They don't care about that. They sympathizers and the people that's being radicalized here, they don't care about that. All they care about is honoring their God by killing a lot of us. You know what I mean? And that's not every Muslim is like that. So, I'm not trying to say that either, but I'm just saying, understand, do some research, do some background check on these ISIS people, do history. I love history, world history, American history. Do your background, do some homework. Just go beyond these late night talk shows and giving their analysis and their point of views. Be informed. Be educated. Be an informed citizen. Read. Pick up a book and read. And the internet is full of some crazy and misinformation, but there's also some credible sources out there too, man. And you can read and educate yourself. Read about serious history. Read about Iran and North Korea. Man, one of the crazy things I've seen North Korea, man, they worship their leaders like they're gods. You know what I mean? That's crazy. I think there's a documentary on YouTube where you can see like how when the leader passed away, and they was, a doctor had, and one of them, it was a doctor had went in there and was giving people surgery, with cataract surgery. Some of them don't even have quality access to healthcare. All kind of crazy stuff going on in North Korea. And when the lady got her eyesight, it was a picture of the leader. She's like, "Oh, thank you, great leader, for my eyesight." Like he miraculously healed her. You know what I mean? But she's probably performing for the camera because the camera was on her. You know what I mean? But I mean, these people live under live under conditions, man, that we can't even imagine. You know, living up under a dictator. You know what I mean? We can't imagine that. You know, we can get out here and protest and tear up stuff, all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Why go to jail if you get caught? But we can protest, and we got to worry about our government coming and get us in the middle of the night. You know, with black suits on and masks. You know, certain nations, they can't do that. And these people in these countries, they want those freedoms that we have and enjoy. You know, so think about that. You know, sometimes put yourself in these people's shoes. You know, put yourself in these people's shoes in Syria. Put yourself in these people's shoes in Iran when they had the Green Revolution and America didn't intervene when they could have. You know, these people want a democratic process. They want to be able to elect their officials instead of their officials, you know, picking and choosing who they want to run. You know, people say, well, America's like that too. You know, there's no real election, and you know, the elitists. You know, come on, man. You know, even this last election lets you know that there's, you know, that there's power in voters, and there's power in our political system. You know, it's a government for the people, by the people. You know what I mean? We are the force of the government as the people. Not the government, you know, not the politicians. We are. They work for us. You know, and America spoke, you know, and they wanted something other than polished politicians. You know, so again, to Trump's credibility and his intelligence, the man had a multi-billion-dollar business, you know, and he bridged over into entertainment, you know. So, you know, go beyond this crazy stuff, man, and attacking people's intelligence. Listening to these media pundits, you know, be informed yourself. Look at the policies, read. You know, some of the news articles are really good, you know, that give you some substantive perspectives versus these time segments, you know, on the news, you know, where you have this pundit and that pundit arguing, you know, and the full substance of the matter is not dealt with. Everything is kind of surface because the news is so slotted and quick. Oh, you know, you got your point that we need to go to a commercial. So you're not going to really get to the substance or the heart of a thing. You know, everything is about sound bites and narratives and point making and gotcha moments, you know, and stuff like that. You know, a lot of political theater and political rhetoric. You know, go beyond the rhetoric, man. You know, that's my thing. You know, just go beyond the rhetoric. But be informed. Listen, positionally, you know, look at our foreign policy. You know, research the history of our foreign policy. You know what I mean? Should we, you know, be dropping bombs in Afghanistan? You know, the mother of all bombs. You know, the Moab. I think, man, militarily, I'm a Navy veteran. That to me, you know, is a necessary. The strike in Syria was a necessary, and it sends a strong message. When you have, I thought it was dope, you know, with Trump meeting with the leader of China, you know what I mean, and they in the middle of dinner, and they sending a message to Syria about, you know, using these chemical weapons on his own people, and you got the leader of China, you know, with you, and even China's making some changes. So it's not necessarily Trump flip-flopping. These people are changing. He called out NATO. They changing. Hey, y'all ain't paying y'all fair share. These folks paying their fair share now. China was manipulating currency and dumping iron. But listen, you know, we are a global society. You know, a lot of our economies are interlocked, you know, with trade. And nations want to be economically sound for their people, and they want to be legitimate in the circle, in the world circle, you know, and not all this fighting crazy stuff all the time. You know, they want to have some normalcy for their people, and their people want normalcy. They want stability. They don't want to be at war and crazy, you know, got crazy people in North Korea want bombs and, you know, just some crazy stuff that's going on out there, man. And people want stable governments. They want that freedom, you know. So there's a revolution happening in China. You know, read up on that, man. A lot of stuff is going on in China that a lot of people don't know about. You know, my son visited China over the last summer. So, you know, we are a global society, you know, and each nation has its own interests. And it's important. You don't need crazy people with nuclear weapons and stuff like that. You know, them people in North Korea want to be free. You know, them people can get away. They love it. Go on YouTube and look at some of the people that got away from North Korea. You know, some of the leaders that defected. You know, go on YouTube and look at some of these documentaries of people in Syria who want a free Syria, who want, you know, the opportunity to vote who they want in power. You know, sometimes you educate yourself, man. You know, pick up a book and read it. You know, stop it with all these crazy memes and, oh, they spending all this money on bombs and, you know, look at our kids over here and they worry about their kids over there and, you know, immigration and refugee and all this other stuff, man. It's, you know, each thing has its own issue that needs, you know, a balanced perspective on it. You know what I mean? So that's my point. That's my perspective. That's my commentary. That's my analysis. You know, till next time. Bless.